Good evening, my friends. Today I'm going to share one of my favorite scriptures out of 2 Corinthians 4:16. And leading up to this, Paul is going on. I mean, this whole chapter is amazing. But he's talking about how we have this treasure in earthly vessels and we're hard pressed on every side. And he's talking about all the tribulations and trials that they go through. But then he closes with this. And he's saying what he experiences on a daily basis or what he's experienced in his life. But he says this following. He says, "For which cause we do not faint. But though our outward man perishes, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, works for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal." But all those things for which he's saying that all those things we experience, I guess I should have came. For all things are for your sakes, that the abundant grace might through the thanksgiving may redound to the glory of God. All things that they're experiencing is for the sake of the saints. They suffer, the saints are edified. And this encourages Paul to say, "For which cause we do not faint? For this cause, because the saints are being edified, even though we're suffering, trying to bring the gospel and live for the gospel and proclaim the gospel. We do not faint." And then he goes on to say, "Though our outward man perish, um, the inward man is being renewed day by day." There is an outward affliction to the decay of the flesh because of age, but there's more to that. There's more to because Paul was beaten, he was stoned. I mean, he had a lot of things happen to him, and then he's fasting, he's losing weight. There's a lot of affliction in his flesh. um, but even though he might experience, or we might experience, affliction in our flesh and pain and suffering, whatever it is, the inward man is what's important. The inward man is being renewed day by day. And this affliction that we experience is nothing compared to the eternal weight of glory. And and we're not looking at the things which are seen. I love that. Like, everything in this life, it's not popular to preach that suffering is part of the gospel, and that you're going to suffer. And it's interesting that God allows it, and to see the resistance that we get from bringing the truth. It's crazy, but God always causes us to triumph. But He allows us to go through that adversity. And why? Why? I think it says it right here. The outward man perishes, but the inward man is renewed. There's something about affliction that stirs up our spirit, man, that strengthens it. And even though it's not fun, it's beneficial for our eternal hope, for our eternal thing. The things that we see, the things that we're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm suffering again. I got to deal with this. I got whatever it is. The enemy is coming at me. The enemy did this. The enemy did that." Um, the things that we can see are temporary, but the things that are going on unseen, the things that those seen things are working in our inward man, these are eternal. So don't focus on the temporary, the things that are seen. Think about what's going on inside, what those things are working in you, the patience that it's working in you, and the fruits of the Spirit that it's working in you. So let's look at that. Let's rejoice in that. Let's rejoice in the eternal things that God is working in us through outward affliction. Amen.